You're really wonderful in Agnes of God.
Thank you.
I saw the stage version. This one is even more powerful.
I think that the writer, John Pillmeyer, and the director, Norman Jewison, really did a wonderful job at taking this almost stylized and very intense play and opening it up cinematically and making it much more of a detective story. It really is a whodunit. Who killed the baby? Was it the nun? Was it the Mother Superior? Was it who was the father? And all the audiences that have seen it so far really get involved in that. They don't know how it's going to turn out, and they're very engrossed. And it's unusual that both levels are equally as resonant as they are in this movie, I think. Some of the very difficult scenes we must have done 30 times. I mean, they're really, and so, as you know, because you've seen it, some of the scenes are unbelievably intense, where I put this child, this young nun, played by Meg Tilly, under hypnosis and ask her to relive her impregnation. I mean, I'm telling you, this actress, Meg Tilly, who is, I mean, she's just unbelievable.
Which side were you more attracted to? I mean, do you have faith? Do you believe in miracles?
I've been in both places, and I understand the conflict very much, and I'm still, you know, kind of working it out and asking myself those questions. So I really enjoyed dealing with that. But when I first read the script, what I realized was, well, two things: that it could be a successful movie because of the strength of the mystery, but also it was such fun to act as an actress. It's, you know, most people don't really think about it, but sometimes movie making is real frustrating from an actress's point of view. The scenes are real short. There's a lot of, most of the time is spent getting in and out of cars, walking in and out of doors, doing things that don't particularly give you a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment, although when you put them all together, they can add up to a good movie. This project has scenes that are, some of them were 10 pages long. And because I was, Anne Bancroft is such a pro, for example, and Meg Tilly, and, you know, they learn all these lines very easily. We could just go through the entire 10 pages without stopping, and it's like a racehorse. You know, it gives you a chance to get your gears going and warm up and just really let fly, and it's unusual, and it's very rewarding.
I'm going to name a decade, and you give me a description of yourself. The 50s.
Rebel. I went from being an adolescent to being a young adult, and it's the worst period, I think, for anybody, but especially a young woman, and particularly difficult if you have famous parents, because I mean, I've got a daughter who's going through it right now. It's the time in your life when you're searching for an identity.
And then the 60s.
I was more conservative. I got married. I mean, in an attempt to try to, again, establish an independent identity, I went to France. I spoke fluent French, and I felt real comfortable there. And I lived and worked in France for 8 years, married a Frenchman, had a daughter.
There's something very bizarre about Vanessa being born on Brigitte Bardot's birthday in the same hospital room as Catherine Deneuve had a baby, also by Roger. Is that all right?
And
correct?
Took her first step in life as the man stepped on the moon. This child is unusual.
This child is going to Brown?
This child at 16, a year younger than usual, is going to Brown University.
And one of her classmates will be Amy Carter?
That's right. Not her roommate, thank heaven.
Oh, yeah, that would be a little much. Do you think it'll be tough being your daughter?
Do I think?
Yeah.
I know that it's tough being my daughter.
So what's going to be different about her? I mean, you had the famous father, she has the famous mother.
Well, see, I had a famous father who was a movie star.
Well, you're
She's
a movie
got a
star?
mother who is also politically controversial, where you have, you know, both attitudes coming at me, and that affects her. Pro and con. She's got the workout stuff, you know, which...
Is she going to take your tapes with her? And
plus, she won't do the workout.
She won't do the workout?
No.
She's a little bit of a rebel, too?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're at the 60s, now the 70s.
I became a political activist in the 70s, and primarily was involved in trying to end the war in Vietnam, and met my husband, Tom Hayden, and had a son,
Troy.
My second child, Troy. We run a children's camp, and oh, Lord, they have dances, and I walked into his session of camp, and they were having a slow dance. And he was slow dancing with a girl.
Oh,
He never danced with anyone but me before.
no. You know, nowadays you're such a role model for so many women. Do you like having that responsibility?
Well, I think when you're a famous person, you automatically have that responsibility.
If you ever think about running for office?
Oh, yeah, I've thought about it, and I totally rejected the idea.
Okay. What about being First Lady? Would you like that?
I don't think that it's in the cards, so I don't think about it, no.
Don't set yourself up for disappointment.
Tom's in the state legislature. There's a long distance from Sacramento to Washington in many ways.
I've covered a number of his campaigns. You couldn't be there for the last victory because you were shooting Agnes of God, but you've actually campaigned for him. You've gone door to door
Yeah, I
throughout Santa
love
Monica.
doing that. I really love it.
Now,
It's
tell
my
me,
favorite part of it.
What's the reaction when Jane Fonda comes to the door?
It ranges from, you know, knock, knock, who's there, Jane Fonda, oh, yeah, sure. And then nothing happens. And then you knock, knock, it's Jane Fonda. No, you're kidding. Yes, it is. And they open the little door and they look out and then, ah! And they scream and yell and carry on and bring everyone to the door and...
Take pictures?
But the really wonderful stuff is when you say, you know, it's Jane Fonda, and they ask you in, and they sit you down, and they give you a cup of tea, and they talk.
Do you think the time would ever come when you'd stop being as involved and be concentrating solely on your acting?
Well, I'm much less involved than I used to be, and I think that it's hurt, in some ways it's hurt my filmmaking, in the sense that, you know, whether it was Coming Home or 9 to 5, Rollover, these films came out of things that I had learned and had seen and experienced as an activist. But out of necessity, I've had to cut back on that and concentrated more both on the workout business and on making movies.
And Madonna's been getting in shape at the workout.
It's the only time that my son has become interested in the workout.
When Madonna was there.
Well, yeah, I told him, guess who was exercising next to me today? And now every day he says, was she there today? I said, yes, and she's cut her hair and dyed it brown. Oh, she has. Yes, and I said, and the other day Sean Penn was there. And he came in and took her out of class.
Well, I hope Agnes is a big hit for you. Thanks for spending some time with us.
It's good to see you again.